do whatever the books say. I do whatever the cards play. I'm charting these stars. It's the last day. It's our time.
It is our time. Peace, everybody. Your resident ghetto scholar is in the building. I pray that the family is doing well. Welcome again to Aboriginal Global Media. And shout out to all the folk who are registering for the birth conference. I left that flyer up there for you. I'll throw it back up on the screen again. The conference will take place July 14th here in Atlanta. And if you're not able to make it in person, you will be able to get the stream so that you can participate. As a matter of fact, let me pull that flyer up right now. Just throw it up on the screen just in case anybody wants to hit that QR code as we're talking, and you will be able to do everything that you need to do. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what the conference is about, some of the speakers, and what our objective is. What are the short-term and long-term goals of that particular institution that operates under our tribal government. For those of you who don't know, Aboriginal Global Media is a company that is ran under the Arna Shiamaru tribal jurisdiction. And our effort is to get our people aware of their real heritage, their proper political status and nationality, and the wonderful things that they can do within their own jurisdiction to protect their rights, their property, their future creations, all of the things that are important to any group of human beings who live on Earth and who are producers. You can have that under your own jurisdiction that will protect all of your rights. It's nothing like the online debacle of information surrounding sovereign citizenship and status correction and all of this erroneous information that gets recycled that's been around for 30 plus years. And y'all just getting around to it. This is probably like the 7th wave of it. It morphs itself every 5 to 7 years into something new. Unfortunately, our people get caught up in it, and that has everything to do with economics and low intelligence. All right, not having the intelligence of how to produce economics, short-term and long-term, and the struggle mindset of trying to find a scam to fix that problem temporarily. So, nah, we're not into all of that. We're letting you know what we're into. This is the official flyer for those who want to register for the event if you're coming in person. All right. And you'll see this, and of course, it'll look like this. Now, both of the flyers are purple. So if you scan this QR code right here, it's going to take you to a place where you're registering so that you can enter the building. All right. And you'll see that on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, all of those places where our social media is. Now, let me open up the other flyer. And this particular flyer that I'm about to show, I'll leave up a little bit longer. But this flyer is for those of you who are online, who cannot come in person, and you want to see the event. We will be streaming the event, which is rare. We usually don't stream events. We stopped it a while ago because we like people to show up in person. And, you know, our information is quite unique, and it can sometimes be subject to the type of scrutiny that we label as censorship. So we got so many requests. I was like, all right. We're going to stream it. And so you could go here to this flyer right here. And you can click on the QR code. All this is on our social media. So if you're not going to do it now, that's cool. Let's see, make sure I got the right one. There we go. All right. So you can scan this QR code right here while we're sitting here, and it will take you to that link. I'll throw inside of the chat on all of the platforms real quick, just a way for you to get to those things directly by links. aboriginalvillageproject.org. That is the main website where we are listing most of our events. And so if you wanted to go to the webinar and order that webinar online, we'll be streaming the event from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. All right. I'm going to throw that in the chat. I'm doing that right now. Let me get all this stuff out of the way because we're about to cook today. It's about to go down. Peace, everybody on Instagram. I see the people are on X. We're streaming on X too at GodBodyOG. We're definitely on Instagram at GodBody.OG. And of course, we're on YouTube at The Ghetto Scholar, Aboriginal Global Media. And I think we're also streaming on Facebook at my regular page, Amaru Namataga Shi Ali. All right, so I'm throwing that in all of these spaces. So if people want to access those things, they can do that. Let's see if I go to the live thread on Facebook, just to make sure everybody gets that. All right, so you can order online. We'll be streaming. You'll be able to see the PowerPoints. You'll be able to see the discussion. And so let's go to our speakers. Maybe I'll just do it like this. There we go. And like this. All right. So you got that. You know where to go get those flyers from. Everything is Gucci on that. And so now the speakers for the event, Sister Naima Shiamaru, Sister Aliyah Dayani, Sister Lazakia Shiamaru, Sister Nia Shiamaru, Brother Kojo Shishabaz, and myself are the speakers for this event. And we've all taken a course in Aboriginal University, which is the Tribal Birth Worker course. And that course lays out the thesis for the She birth family system within the Aboriginal Medical Association and Aboriginal University. And we will be laying out all of the details. Like I did a webinar today. I did a meeting today with all of the speakers and just looking at all of the wonderful things that they're going to present next Saturday. It is a part of a vision that I have had for the last 15 years. And this is just a testament to me. When you have an idea, you just need the right people to work with. And sometimes you have the idea, but you don't have the right people to work with. And you just got to keep the idea afloat till you can gather people who have the same vision, equal vision within that. And so finally, we're at that particular point. And so we have a whole ministry of births under our tribal government, the head of which is Sister Naima Shi Amaru. And we have a whole bunch of midwives, tribal birth workers and midwives. And the system that we are administering in the public, because we're doing it, been doing it really for years, but last year brought some nuances to it because of the research, and it's going to take over the world. That's all I can say. Like, you can wait, you could be a part of it, you could watch from the sidelines, it don't matter. It's going to take over the world. It is that magnificent in practice. And so, to give you some perspective on why I decided to do this lecture today is directly tied to that event. Why did I decide to come on this channel and talk about being addicted to problems and allergic to solutions? Why did I do that? Because this is humanity's number one problem. An addiction becomes a biochemical state in the brain. The brain doesn't make the addiction at all. It is just the pattern and sequence holder for the thinking. And if you think thinking starts in the brain, that is a part of the problem. Thinking does not start in the brain. So go get all your teachers who know anything about neuroscience, and you're just going to have a conversation with us about that issue. So if you have an addiction, which is a pattern of behavior that we relatively label as dysfunctional, and we can look at your brain through various types of diagnostics and see those patterns going through brainwave states, biochemical states, neurotransmission, hormonal states, etc., and we identify that, then what do we need to change the pattern? What do we need? And just for the qualification of my statement, brain thinking is an electrical perturbation. Let's just get that down. An electrical perturbation. And if you don't know what a perturbation is, we can look it up. But the reason why I started out with the birth course and the birth certification under a traditionally indigenous government is because that is how you solve the problem. Like I said, 15 years on an idea that I set for other women who wouldn't listen. And that's okay, because they had their vision. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're teaching. We don't just teach how to have painless births. I've watched my own child come out with painless birth. I watched the baby come out. I watched my child birth from the first contraction all the way to the last one in under an hour. And you can go online and hear all kind of people talk all kind of stuff about me. That's not true. But what you won't hear them saying is talking about the solutions that we have activated and do activate. And you can see confusing communication breeds this unity. So going back to thought being an electrical perturbation, it could be a perturbation that is non-coherent or coherent. Coherent is like being able to dance to music. Non-coherent is to be offbeat. Your thinking can be coherent or non-coherent. Now, I'm going somewhere with this because if I'm going to say that there are problems that you don't know how to solve, I have to prove that I and we have solved them and we have a scientific method to solutions to our major problems. And I'm going right to thought because I have to start there because that's your problem. And because you think that thought starts in your brain, it goes to show how much you don't know about life, reality, and nature, which you need to know something about those things in order to solve problems. So the question I have to ask you is, who is your teacher? And I also understand very well that because I look like I look in, and what that means to you in your brain, which you compete, you will feel like I'm not qualified maybe to even engage this discussion. And who put those feelings inside of you? Where did you get that from? These are all things we have to deal with. And so we will deal with them. We're going to deal with them through scientific method. And we are going to distinguish the difference between the knowledge that you need versus the information that you're addicted to. And it is our presumption that 99.9% of the people on the planet now who live in this age, who are in the information age, do not know how to use information properly to solve problems. Because you don't solve problems with information. You solve problems with knowledge. And there is a difference. You say, well, knowledge means to know. Knowledge is the ability to observe. That is the objective side of knowledge. You'll often hear scientists say we have to be objective, not subjective. No, we have to be both. And that is where the problem is. Being objective is a very useful tool because we're all observing. We hear, we see, we smell, we taste, we got all kinds of senses. And they help us. But they're being the fact that you can say there's a subjective thought tells you that it must have some use, not to be ignored. But the problem with the subjective thought is it has not been guided. It has not been matured. And it goes back to you believing that thought starts in your brain. That is the reason why your subjective consciousness is so weak, off, impulsive, and unable to be used to solve problems. And then you go to a world, a secular world, a world that will also not teach that thought doesn't start outside of the brain. It starts inside of the brain. We're going to deal with that. And so now these are your teachers. These are your teachers. And I'm telling you, the people who you think are the smartest people in the world are the dumbest people in the world. And so if you believe them to be intelligent or smart, and they're not, and it can be proven because they don't know how to solve their own problems or yours or help you, how dumb does that make you? One of the first things that really helped me as a human being is I had to confess that I didn't know shit. I didn't know nothing that was useful for me. I was 20 years old in my head like, bruh, you really don't know nothing. And all the people around you don't know anything because look at them with all their problems, unable to solve all their problems. And we all sitting here acting, posturing. That's a part of the adaptation to the system that you have connected to. You have to posture like you actually know. And if you get in a conversation with a really intelligent person, you will find out how dumb you are actually. And so that's where you have to start at. You know what? I really don't know. I really don't even know how this stream is coming to me instantly. Ali is in Atlanta. I'm in Pennsylvania. I don't even know how it's getting to me instantly. What kind of technology is being used? And so we need to be in an environment of knowledge, which teaches us what? Subjective and objective reality, and increasing the performance use of both. Because when you learn to do that, you're going to be really in knowledge. And knowledge is the principles and the methods that allows for you to observe nature and experience nature outwardly and inwardly, and come to very, very good conclusions about how to use that to make a successful life for yourself. That's what you learn for. And you learn through knowledge, and knowledge is established through culture. Culture is established through jurisdiction. Where's your jurisdiction? Where's your culture? What is it? You didn't have a jurisdiction before Arna. Where was it? What was the jurisdiction before Arna? Tell me. I'd love to know. Tell me. I'd love to know. Shout out to Blue Lotus. Let's take a drink. This is problem solving. What kind of problem solving is this? Well, this is not alcohol, but I'm going to take me a drink and I'm about to get nice. What kind of nice? The kind of nice that will give you an element like Blue Lotus that will increase your melanin in your brain. Neuromelanin. That will increase your skin melanin and the performance of it. CBD. So I made this drink right here to help in alcoholism. Problem solved. No liver damage, nothing, no dysfunction. You can get an alpha wave brain state, a calm mind, and you're most creative. And so the entire discussion of our jurisdiction is about solving problems. Jurisdiction, culture, education. So you need a new library. You need a new library. I was online telling people that the origin of HPV is from anal sex, because the alpha, beta, and other viruses that you find that are now considered HPV are from a mutation. And this goes into virology. But the point was, you need specific pathogens in order for HPV to be present. And when you want to find the history of the origins of HPV, you have to look to anal sex. When I put that online, people were like, "Oh, you can get HPV from a lot of different ways in anal sex." And I'm sitting there looking at them like, okay, yeah. But back to the point, where does it come from? And so, yeah, we all get here through sex. Who taught you sex? Did you learn sex from your jurisdiction, your culture, your tradition? No, you did not. And if sex is how we get here, it's pretty high on the totem pole. Comes along with air and food and water and earth and a sun and planets. Besides those things, sex is right up there at number 5. And so if you can contaminate the water, the food, the air, you can contaminate or put a project together to put sulfur in the sky to block out the sun. You mean to tell me you can't contaminate sex? Of course you can. Of course you can. And the output will show. What is the output? Children. Look at them. You have to change the literature. You have to change the literature. You have to change the literature. You believe that 12 million people were brought, 12 million Africans were attempted to be brought from West Africa. First of all, there were not even 12 million people in the whole of West Africa at the time of the accusation. It's completely stupid, but it's okay. So no, and then 10 million made it here from South America into North America. It's a movie. Get some literature. That's the whole problem with Afrocentrism. It goes along with European educational dominance that is backwards and wrong. People believe that nobody was moving around the earth till Columbus jumped in a ship. Man, please. Get some literature. Get some literature. This is secondary. This is not primary, but it might list primary sources. A primary source is Ramesses II with cocaine in his body. Where you get the coke from, Ramesses? Where you get the coke from? How you get cacao in your body and cocaine? Where does cacao grow? And the coca leaf to make cocaine. Where does that grow? You think the world is something that it's not. And it doesn't matter if you're that stupid, because history is a now event. And if you don't got your heritage in order, you don't got now in order. You're not a problem solver. You don't know these things? You still believe in Jesus? It's 2025 on the calendar that never existed back then. How did you even get the calendar? I dare you to say Pope Gregory. I dare you to be like the mob. You don't know. Of course you don't. That's why we wrote it down. But it's not important to people who don't understand how effed up their brain is and their thought processes. Hebrew Israelites will get mad at me because I wrote the book. Then I tell them, well, I'm mad at you because you was on the corner quoting Solomon. Whoa, read Solomon. Read. And you was black. Solomon wasn't black in the Bible. That was Solomon's wife in Song of Solomon, apologizing for being dark-skinned. Solomon is described as white in the Bible. Also, the color that we would associate with red. The term red that we use in English was a term in the past that would be used to label the pale European stock of people that we call today white. Yeah. David, Solomon, they're all listed as white people in the Bible. When you go to the linguistics, what are you talking about? I mean, I'm talking about decades of people reading things who are reading scriptures out of the context. And black people on the corner. How long you been on that corner reading that scripture wrong? Is that problem solving? No, it's not. All the Sabiites, they got mad when I wrote this book. I wrote the book so you could learn how to feed yourself. Hundreds of recipes in here and food science that's based on science, not belief. You have to change the literature. I could keep going. All you tarot readers out here, you spiritual people, you astrologists, all of you, where are you getting this stuff from? How come you don't have a tradition that will teach you where it's from? There are no Native Americans anywhere on this land who can open up this book and say, oh, we knew that. Go get them. Link them right now. Go to your social media and say, Ali is over here talking about the ancestors that are the oldest on the native lands, indigenous American ancestors, and that y'all don't know none of them, nor do y'all know their systems. Tag them right now, bring them into the chat, and I'll let them come on live to prove me wrong. That's a few million people who y'all follow, and y'all go to powwows, and y'all don't know. They don't know what the fuck they doing. Then we had a nerve to take all of the jurors, get together, do a group dissertation, and show you how we do what we do in our jurisdiction and sell it to you for $60. So you could learn that reparations is not something you ask for. That's what you do for yourself. If you're going to ask for anything, it's called restitution, and it's because you're owed it. You're owed it. Oh, we can keep going. Oh, well, take a DNA test. Take a DNA test. That'll shut all that indigenous stuff down. Take a DNA test. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Come on over. I know you can't have a conversation with us on DNA. You don't even know what DNA is. I guarantee you don't know what DNA is. All of your haplogroup studies, male and female, your autosomal studies, you don't know what's going on with these DNA tests. Then the spooky people say DNA don't mean anything. Oh, it does mean something. It means a lot. Well, you know what it is. And we know what these markers mean. We still have them today. Oh, you got to prove to me that that natural selection didn't cause us to evolve from hominids. You got to prove that to me. Okay, sure. No problem. Here it is right here. It's in the book. Next. You know how long I can do this? I got a 40 clip for you. I could go all day. So I'm the same type of so-called black man as you. I got the same stresses. I got the same baby mamas. I got the same children. I got the same white supremacy that y'all call white supremacy. I don't call it that, but we know what it is. Same thing. It hasn't stopped me yet. It will never stop. What am I trying to say to you in the most humble way? I am a walking solution. That's what I was trying to show you. I'm a walking solution for problems in life. From the time that I was 20 years old to now, I'll be 50 in a week. 30 years. I'm a walking solution for myself, my family, and my people. How do you do that? You gotta tap into your subjective reality and your objective reality. That's what you got to do. Anybody who wants books, I'm not here to go over every book, I'm not here to do that, but I will link you. You can get ebooks. You can get all types of stuff. All right. If you want ebooks, here. I'll put all the links in the chat. I ain't going to leave nobody without the things that they need. I see you in the chat asking questions, and so I will respond as we're going. I ain't going to leave you out there like that. All right. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. They like to freeze me up. Hey, look, if you're on Instagram, You got to go to the Ghetto Scholar on YouTube. Sorry, I don't know what's going on over there. It looks like it's frozen. I don't know. Y'all let me know. All right. If you want physical books, I'll give you the physical books too. No problem. Here you go. Wow. The object is you have to change how you're thinking, because how you're thinking is dysfunctional and destructive to you. Now let's go back. Let's go back to the point. Let's go back to the point. Thinking. What is thinking? You got to come to a curriculum. What curriculum are you under? You're under the Carnegie Mellon curriculum, which automatically means you're a defeated human, mentally dead. You can't function under there and do anything that's highly transformational. As a matter of fact, you'll be impressed with people that do things, and you kind of like your brain, how your brain responds to it subconsciously is not how you respond outwardly. Like, for instance, today, let me pull up my notes. Today, I posted about a young man who is he's an engineer. All right. So his name is Palmer Luckey. You know who Palmer Luckey is? Put Palmer Luckey in the chat. I'll put it in the chat. I just posted about him, right? Palmer Luckey. Let's start with his childhood. His parents, his dad sold cars. Salesman. Keep that in mind. His mother stayed at home and homeschooled the children. His mother would leave him on the garage with all the electronics, and he had this fascination as a child. Go back to purpose and the birth conference about birthing. Our sentiment is you must redesign humanity from birth to their progression. That's how you're going to solve the problem on Earth. And you have to put ingredients inside of that. And so all of these other ways that you're trying to solve problems, you are not going to solve no problems. None. No major ones. Absolutely none. And everything will decline. Economy will get worse. People are going to get worse. Environment is going to get worse. Social structure is going to get worse. Marriages are going to get worse. Birth rates are going to get worse. Health is going to get worse. For people who are staying on that track, it's just going to get worse. It's nothing you can do to stop it because you haven't even started with the origin of the problem. And so going back to this child, he's out there with all the electronics, playing with all of these gadgets, putting stuff together. Great. Homeschool. So his mother sees him doing that. She starts catering him towards the things that he deals with. Matter of fact, I haven't done this. I'm gonna do this live. Let me look up his birthday, because I don't know his cards. I'll pull up his cards and his whole profile, and we'll see, what he's dealing with. Okay, so he's 32 years old, and let's find his birthday. Let's see. Let's go. All right. All right, so got that. All right, so his birthday is September the 19th, and I don't have my cards in front of me, so I got to do it in my head. So that means that he would be let's see, 12, 7, 6 of clubs, right? 6 of clubs, Virgo. Is that what we're dealing with? Correct me, some of y'all are cosmologists. I'm doing that straight out of my head with no formulas, no nothing, right? And so if that calculation is correct, we can start reading his cards. So we got a Virgo in the building. That's telling you, or 6 polarity properly, because there's no such thing as a Virgo. 6, but I'm saying it because that's what you're familiar with. All right. So we got 6 polarity in there, Earth sign with mercurial rulership over that polarity. He's 30. He'll be 33 this year. He's a billionaire. He was the one who developed Oculus, right? And they sold it to Facebook when he was 21 years old. And eventually, Oculus became the tool to be used for the metaverse that first phase that Facebook experimented with. All right, built Oculus. But this is from homeschooling, 2-parent home, letting the child have a free education and naturally gravitate towards his interest. So we got 6 of clubs, 6 of spades. Double 6 of clubs. Queen of clubs as a key card. I don't know what his treasure card would be. But you see all these clubs? I'm a club. Technology. Science. 6 polarity. And so now you have this child who's a billionaire now who runs an AI company. It's called Autoril with the software Lattice. He went from putting together remote control cars in his garage with no stress of the Carnegie Mellon educational system and the Rockefeller and all these other people who developed this dumb stuff that all of y'all believe, to being a billionaire and becoming a contractor for governments across the world. What's my point? And you might call me crazy for this, right? Don't call me crazy for this. No, it's September 19th. He's not an 8 of clubs. He's a 6 of clubs. All right. So what am I saying here? What I'm about to say? What I'm about to say might sound crazy, but I'm going to say it. What he's doing is not talent at all. It's not talent. It looks like talent to a people who are not cultivated into a society that grooms purpose. Because essentially all he's doing is making self-intelligent machines that are basically advanced. They're advanced toys. There's no other way to put this. Advanced self-remote control toys. If September 19th is a 5 of clubs, okay. So he's a 5 of clubs, 3 of diamonds. Still there. All right. 9 of spades. All right. So what I'm trying to say to you is we are impressed with stuff because we are dead. That's what I'm trying to say. I promise you that is the reality. But we can change that. We can absolutely change that. But we have to come to the first rule and principle of nature is proper objective and subjective observation. And what we translate that to in human behavior is honesty. Proper subjective and objective observation means you're honest. It also establishes respect for the environment that you're in. And that respect means I'm going to respect this because there are things that I'm unaware of. And to disrespect that will put me in danger. What this world will make you do is the opposite. You'll be dishonest, which means your subjective and your objective observations, you don't care what they're saying. You're going to create a pseudo-confidence, which is really low self-esteem, and act like you're respecting nature when you actually are not. You disrespected nature through poor subjective and objective reality. Then you double down and you disrespected nature. Now, the third tier, which is loyalty, you're going to have false loyalty throughout your whole life. And that is a result of the warped culture that we live in. So you're prone to lie. You're prone to be dysfunctionally manipulative. You really have a scarcity mindset, but you can mask it through different layers of all kinds of bullshit. And ultimately it comes out in your life because you get to your 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and you haven't done anything meaningful. And then you start to fake that, like you did do something meaningful. Instead of actually, I really haven't pushed myself to the limits to say, what am I here for? And what am I doing while I'm here? This is humanity. And this is why, you can't take most people seriously. If you do, you're a fool. You can't take them seriously. And so let's go back, because now we got to talk about addiction. I want to get to this. So let me show you what addiction is in the brain. All right, let me show you what it is. Let's read this. I want you to read this, what I'm about to show you, and then we're going to go to things that happen when you actually accomplish goals that your body and mind recognizes. All right, so this is a summary, right? And I won't agree with all of this, but it's okay. Enough of it is here to get the point off. Addiction involves a complex interplay between the brain's what? This is important. Reward system. Now think about what a reward system is. A reward system is when the objective mind gets a stimulus from the outside, that something that they are doing, behavior, which is coming from the subjective world, is a thing that, according to the culture, is considered good. So your child can come home 5 years old and they did good in school, and you physically hug them, you are elated, you're excited. The child recognizes that as a reward. And so now something is going to happen in their brain. But the obverse of that is the child can get in trouble in school. They're young, impressionable. They're learning this reward system, but they get a stress response. Oh my God, I'm going to call your parents. You got to go home and be like, damn, my mom might spank my ass. You're 5 years old, but that's what you're thinking. Maybe I got popped before. So reward system and stress response. And neurotransmitters like dopamine and cortisol. See, dopamine is the beginning of something magical, but then it could turn into dysfunction when you map it with cortisol. So you want dopamine and serotonin present, and then it will convert itself into neuromelanin. But the mesolimbic dopamine pathway plays a central role in addiction, experiencing reward, which is, okay, you have a stress response. You're stressed out, your wife's stressing you out or whatever. That's why I started Flat Flex Friday. Because the belly fat around your waist is the significant sign that you are not dealing with reward system properly, that something happened in your childhood, even things that you have been handed down as far as genes that are now, because of lifestyle, demethylated, how you feel about yourself, how much effort you put towards your physical body. When you have that inner tube around your waist, that is the telling sign of what is really going on in your brain. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say on the outside, but on the inside, this is what's going on. And most men who get married, they get into their 40s, they have an inner tube around their waist because they have accepted a lie. Subjectively, they're saying one thing. Objectively, they're saying another thing. They celebrate their 20th wedding anniversary. They look like they're actually happy. They're actually not. They stay for other reasons other than peace and happiness. But you're faking it. Because if you're not faking it, the first place you see it at is your physical body. The health of your physical body tells about your awareness on how to keep it healthy. It tells about your cortisol, your stress levels. It tells how you're dealing with addiction, because also a part of addiction is staying in relationships that you're not supposed to be in. That's an addiction. And it happens the same way as whether you're taking fentanyl or whatever else. Experiencing reward with the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, releases cortisol in response to stress. Okay, so now stress is not a bad thing. Cortisol is not bad. These things help us. It is what? When it becomes chronic, when you're not what? Problem solving. The idea of stress is to put the body in a state of minimal shock so that now your brain expects, your body expects the real controller of the body to know how to solve it. And when you're disconnected from coherent thought, you can't solve the problem, because dysfunctional people start their thought process out, right? In a non-coherent fashion. And so it's more learned responses and memory than it is actual thinking. And when I come to what thinking is, you're going to see what I mean by that. Thinking for healthy people does not start in the brain. It does not. For stressed people, you get a distorted signal that starts in the brain. Non-coherent. And I'm going to go through coherence and non-coherence. Coherent just basically means you're flowing smoothly without a lot of friction. Non-coherent means it's a lot of friction. Chronic stress can disrupt normal dopamine function and increase vulnerability to addiction, potentially through altered cortisol levels. Dopamine and the reward system. Drugs of abuse, along with natural rewards like food and sex, activate the mesolimbic dopaminergic pathway, leading to the increased dopamine release and the feelings of what? Pleasure. This pathway is crucial for reward processing, learning, and motivation. Chronic exposure to drugs can alter the sensitivity of dopamine receptors, leading to tolerance and dependence. The reward system becomes sensitized to drug-related cues, increasing the likelihood of a relapse. The HPA axis is activated in response to stress, triggering the release of cortisol, a stress hormone. Stress can disrupt normal dopamine function and increase dopamine release in the mesolimbic pathways. Cortisol may play a role in the transition from drug use to addiction, potentially through its influence on dopamine signaling. All right, so we already know all of this. But the problem here is that the body is doing what it's supposed to do. You are not doing what you're supposed to do. You are not doing what you're supposed to do. Guess what? You might not even know how, because nobody ever taught you. And so let's look at the opposite of addiction. Let's look at the opposite of addiction. This is going to blow your mind. Now watch this. All right. Pull my little notes up. All right. Let me pull up my notes. Hold on. Here we go. Dopamine, neuromelanin. Let's get this down. Dopamine's role in goal accomplishment is intricately linked to neuromelanin, a pigment that can form in dopamine neurons. Neuromelanin acts as a protective mechanism, neutralizing excess dopamine and potentially playing a role in chemical memory within these neurons. The relationship between dopamine, neuromelanin, and goal-directed behavior suggests a complex interplay where dopamine signaling influenced by neuromelanin contributes to motivation, reward, and ultimately the pursuit of goals. This is the opposite of what I just showed you. And so now dopamine, after you go through this reward system where you actually accomplish a goal, your reward is that excess dopamine gets converted into neuromelanin. Now, let's just understand this from the point that I talked about thought. And you cannot learn this nowhere else on earth except from here. One process created a stress hormone response where the dopamine and the cortisol accumulate, and now your body starts to respond. And if you don't find a way to actually respond to the stress properly, what does it lead to? Depression, inflammation, addiction. Addiction to what? Whatever it is that you're doing that's giving you some pleasure, but no accomplishment, feeling of accomplishment and motivation. It is now a drug. It's giving you some temporary perceived relief that's not real biochemical relief. Why is that? Opposite of that, literally, your dopamine and reward system conversion behavioral dynamic can convert itself into a light synthesizing substance. I'm going to say that again. Your biochemistry in your brain, when you're motivated and you're accomplishing your goals, can literally get turned into a light, sensitive compound and stored in your brainstem. So let me go back to thought. Thought does not start in the brain for healthy people. Thought is light perturbations. Light is black. It's the black stuff you appear to see when you look up out into space, except it's everywhere. The reason why you don't see it down here is because what? The electrical fields are all interacting with each other. They're literally perturbating and pushing each other. And so what are they doing? They're refracting the light into literal 7,000 bands of atomic spectroscopy. That's how many real elements should be on the periodic table. 7,000. And now they call them isotopes. So you have the 118 minerals, then you got all of these isotopes. No, that's all different forms of light movement. That's all elements are. Elements are how light perturbates. Perturbation is the thinking in the mind of the creator, the designer of all things. And the only difference between this microphone and me is how the elements are in motion. That's it. So light thought is an electrical perturbation that does not begin in the brain. It begins in another dimension. And the brain is designed to receive it. And it does that through the cytoskeleton of the cells. There's a conversion point. And the healthier you are, the more you are accomplishing goals, the more neuromelanin that you have, you can convert those signals into ideas. Have you ever had an idea one day and looked up 4 days later and somebody else not connected to you is now doing something with the idea? Let me tell you what has happened. Once an idea is downloaded literally into this sphere of this dimensional plane, it is now vibrationally accessible. So even if the first person doesn't do anything with it, somebody else has access to it. They never have to talk to you. They never have to interact with you. That idea is literally going to ping in someone else's brain. And if they are motivated, they're going to accomplish the goal. So what I'm telling you is the proof of when you are accomplishing things is that your brain stores more light. Light stored on this side of creation is concentrated carbon, and we call it melanin. So you can't fool us. We used to get asked in English lesson C1, can the devil fool a Muslim? Not nowadays, where damn near all the Muslims in the Nation of Islam is fooled. So they ain't talking about them. And according to Elijah Muhammad, the real meaning of Muslim is God in person. So let's throw all the religion away, and I don't even want to use the word because I don't want to disrespect y'all. Y'all can have y'all Arabized confusion all y'all want. Keep it. What I'm telling you is you don't even know how thought works. So how are you even arguing with people who do? How? How are you doing it? You're fighting God. Literally, you're fighting God. Like, literally. I'm not joking. I fought God before. I lost, so I gave up. I was like, oh, no, this is stupid. Let me stop doing that. Because I'm fighting myself. And so now that we have established what thought really is, when a person is stressed the fuck out, don't have their purpose, they do not develop coherent thought. They're not going to accomplish divine things. And so what is the lesson? The lesson is you're listening to the wrong people. That's the lesson. You need jurisdiction, you need culture. And once you get in that environment, then the people who are advising you are going to advise you. Oh, you want to change the world? Birth more healthy children. You want to change the world? Get a proper absolute dynamic between man and woman, not what the fuck you believe. Because what the fuck you believe is non-coherent thought. And you got to get your thought in harmony. That's why all spiritual people out here who claim to be spiritual, I do not fuck with you. I'm sorry. I might even like you. I might even have empathy for you. But I'm not going to sit here and listen to you talk about spirituality. Like, bruh, why would I do that, bruh? That would be bastardization of my own mind. You don't know shit about spirituality. Literally. You don't even know how to breathe. It shows on your skin. Why do you have bumps all over your skin if you're spiritual? That means you don't even know how to oxidize your body in order to stop parasites from eating you the fuck up. That's why you have bumps all over your skin. It's about to get real hot and grown. I don't care if the world rejects everything that I say. I'm going to say what the fuck I got to say and leave this dimension. But before I go, I'm going to have a good time whipping y'all ass. Because you need people who know what's going on, who can actually help you solve problems. Why are you in debt? Why are you in child support court? Whether you're the man or the woman, you don't know how to solve problems. Why do you have all these health complications? It's because you're dealing with information and not knowledge. You're dealing with information and not, you're an information addict. You're addicted to information. You don't know how to arrange it. You don't know what the use of it is or how to make it functional jurisdictionally. You think problem solving is solving problems in your own house when the people outside of your house are determining what problems come in. You can't afford your bills this month? Who determined that? You're trying to fight with family against jurisdiction. You're going to lose. Family is not stronger than jurisdiction because their jurisdiction is full of families who are determining policy that impacts you. Who's slow? Who is slow? You or them? Oh, I don't get with groups. I don't get with no groups. I'm just going to stick to me and my family. Okay, cool. Just go be an average motherfucker and then die. And that's cool. If that's good enough for you, that's good. We're not here to do that. I'm not going to waste the space of quadrillions and quadrillions of atoms in a body to come here to be average. Why would I do that? But everybody got different levels of motivation, and that's okay. We're not mad at you for being motivated at your level. Live your life. Nobody can stop you. All I'm telling you is that there's more there. All I'm telling you is that there's more there. Somebody said, what do I do for a living? I run Aboriginal Medical Association. I run Aboriginal University. And we operate all of this curriculum stuff inside of Aboriginal University in our tribe. And so my lifestyle on a daily basis deals primarily in the field of health. And then it goes into fields of law and organization inside of our tribal government. All right. So anybody who wants website, anything, if you're on my YouTube channel, all that stuff is on my page. And I just posted the websites in there. Go back through the chat and you'll see all the websites where I was posting the information. All right. So back to the point. So addicted to a problem. Addicted to a problem, we just described the addiction. And so the answer is not information. The answer is recognizing the difference between knowledge and information. So what is the difference between knowledge and information? You might get a book, Grey's Anatomy. And then it's talking about anatomy and physiology, how the heart works, how the brain works, how the nervous system works, how the hormonal system works. Boom, you're going through it. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Great. Now I know how the human body works. No, you don't. You're going to have to go back and use your objective reality, observation, and your subjective reality, which is your internal communication. And then you're going to have to do the first thing that I said that you always have. You have to be honest and you have to say, well, wait a minute. Why are some people tall and some people short? Why do some people have dark skin and why do some people have pale skin? Why do some people have 4C hair and why do some people have 3C hair? Like what are these differences? because these little nuances that you see that are observable differences. And then you go to the subjective part, right? That's how you have been cultivating the inside of yourself. That's directly connected to your parents, and it's deeper than that. And so now you come to a conclusion. The conclusion you have to come to is, I don't know. So what are you going to study? Well, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to study language. I'm going to study biology. I'm going to study physics. I'm going to study all of the things I need to study, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. That is a system that is already running. There's nothing wrong with that. Go to school, get your specialization. You might want to become an electrical engineer or some other thing that you want to become in life, and that's cool. But that is inside of two things: jurisdiction and culture. And so what happened to Maxwell Chikumbutso when he brought his car that I want to use the right language that he uses, because I would use a different language. He says his car runs on radio frequencies. Okay. What happened when he tried to come to America? He got this is the allegation. He got poisoned several times. He had to go back over to Africa to his own people to try to get his project off the ground. The jurisdiction and the culture here said, nah, you're not about to come do that here and use a technology that is beyond what we are doing in order to implement that into a economic and infrastructure. And all the black people here, I don't care where y'all at, all of y'all famous black leaders who y'all get up and y'all vote for congressmen, senators on the state level, on the congressional level. Some of y'all been doing it since Charlie Rangel was around, and y'all been voting for Maxine Waters. None of y'all stood up and said, wow, that's a good idea. Let's implement it in our communities. You don't have a community to implement it in. You don't even have permission to do it. Maxwell Chikumbutso could have brought an idea to the black community and said, I want to implement this for our people here in America, and y'all can't do it. When I say can't, C-A-N-T, can't. You can't do it. It's illegal for you to do it. You're under the wrong jurisdiction and under the wrong culture. You don't even have the motivation. Where are the black people that were screaming for Maxwell Chikumbutso to come to a summit of some type held by black leadership in America to talk about the beautiful scientific things and finds that this indigenous African had found? Where are they? Where was it? ASCAP? What Pan-African group brought him before the black people to say this is a great idea? Addicted to problems? Allergic to solutions? Yeah. So I don't got to prove my point. My point proves itself. The point proves itself. You can go online right now and prove the point. And so for the people who like solutions, here is my recommendation to you. You have to practice the onion theory or thesis of life. And that means you have these multiple shells or layers, and you have to layer your ideas, your family, your projects, your operations, your jurisdiction. You have to layer it in protections. It's not for everybody. Your type of thinking where you are solution oriented and you're constantly solving problems in your life, it will get you envy, jealousy, betrayal, and backstabbing from people who are mentally dead. And so now you have to learn how to live with a new way of life that you're living that's different than the people around you. And you have to get around like minds who are like that, and y'all carry on what y'all still doing in a functional way in economics, family, health, technology, all of the operations that y'all birthing children, all of those operations, you right there in the same society, just go handle your business. Just know who is a friend and who is not a friend, who is an ally and who is not an ally. That's how you solve the problem. You do not go soliciting for a bunch of dead people to become a part of what you're doing. That's where you're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point. The people who come, they already want to come. They've already been subjectively and objectively producing the type of thinking and operations to meet with you. So when they link with you, it's like, oh man, it's automatic. Go be the example. Go teach. Go service. Go product. Go operate inside of what you're doing, and the people will eventually come that you need to continue to build the vision out that you're building. I am the proof of that. I am the proof. I am the proof. We just talked about the birth seminar. Both of my ex-wives are midwives. They are good at what they do. I won't call them great or excellent, not on the scale that I'm using for measurement in ARNA. In the other world, they are great and excellent. But because they did not want to listen to jurisdiction and that type of guidance, they had a ceiling. The women in ARNA have no ceiling, who are tribal birth workers, tribal midwives, the program we're about to run the first birth conference. They don't have a ceiling. You don't have a ceiling. You could take over the whole industry, the finances of it, the operations of it, the legal side of it, the institutional side of it. No one can stop you. Nothing can stop you. The only one thing that can stop you, and I already see it happening, is the cat fighting amongst women. And it's already started. Because I expected to start. Don't tell me y'all not catfighting because you're a liar if you tell me you're not catfighting. Yeah, the women in DOS catfight too. The men in SOS catfight, secret envy. Oh, that's a part of the process of us growing out of the way, and that's also the process of us getting rid of niggas who are not going to transform. It's just going to happen. Look what happened to the box truck mayor. Look what happened. It is a part of healing. If you understand the human body, it's synonymous. It's synonymous. And so we just need to understand the laws of nature. It is it teaches you what knowledge is. That's where I was going. And the reason why they can't detox on a social level is because they're not detoxing on the physical level. Everybody who can detox on the physical level can detox on the social level. They learn how to deal with toxic things. We learn how to do it. We do it through what? Structure, institutions, collaboration, sharing. But all the way down in the subjective part has to be the thinking, right? And remember, thinking does not start in the body. It has to be the thinking that you want peace. Because that's what light actually is. Light is a permanent state of peace that has activity, but the activity is coherent, it's rhythmic, it's a dance. And so the people who can't come to peace in their subjective mind cannot come to peace in their objective mind. So if you call them to court to solve the problem, and this is not on the internet, and it's private, and it's the brothers, and we get a chance to talk in quiet about a problem that we have, they won't show up. Why won't they show up? Because vampires do not come out when the sun is out. Vampires do not come out when the sun is out. When the sun is out, what's happening? All of the electrical fields are magnified to show the vibration of everything that is apparent in nature. Get to see it objectively just as it is. And subjectively, when you're out in nature, you have to have honesty, respect, and loyalty going on, or you won't survive. And the confident people who can go out in nature and survive are the people who are prepared to engage in nature. They know what to do. If the power went out, the water went off, everything went off, what the fuck are you going to do? 99.9% are going to panic. The 0.1%, they know how to clean water. They're already prepared. They already have stuff in their house. They already know how to cook without electricity. They can produce electricity because maybe they've been studying. They're prepared. But the people who have toxic physical bodies cannot solve problems at the level that they need to be a healthy human being in a social group we call a jurisdiction. In a social group we call a family. You might need a water well. I have contraptions in my house that convert air into water. Different technologies. Mine is mobile. What's going to happen when they poison your water? Knowledge versus information. You got a well? Good. That's like having a C- in survival skills. Because technology is invention from idea. And if you have something that you made or others made that could make water from the atmosphere around you, that's mobile, you're in another level of technology, which means you're in another level of use. I shared this stuff online, stuff that you can buy offline. You have to go to wait on Moses West. I respect Moses West, but I disagree with the way he's disseminating his technology. It's gatekeeping. That's just my view. It might change in the future, but it's not going to change right now. So I went and studied the different people who are doing something similar or whatever. I put this stuff right online. You can get it for $500 or $700 or something like that. And if you're into taking stuff apart, you can learn how they do it because it's really easy. And so the subjective and the objective have to match. And so people who can't work, they got the toxins are in their lysosomes. I could do a bioscan on them or DNA methylation or something of that nature, and I can show you. They're not getting rid of it. Look at their physical bodies. Go look at them. Then you got the people who hide and mask and change their physical body through synthetic means. And they think they're fooling people. But that's also a mentality. What is that mentality? It's anybody. Let me say this. You need to learn how to read people. Anybody who does the synthetic change, the BBLs and the Ozempics, and any of those people, they are highly dysfunctional manipulators. That's it. They're predators. They prey on people. Confidence low. Usually they're masking it in high ego. Narcissism. You call it narcissism. Narcissism actually means a person with low self-esteem who is dishonest. They're masking it. Addicted to something. What are they addicted to? Problems. Allergic to solutions. Because you have to prove to me that you're producing light in your brain. And the proof of it is you are bringing meaningful transformation to humanity at a time where they need it the most. It takes time to do that. It takes consistency to do that. And so we can look all across the world and we can keep acting the same way we're acting, right? Guess what it's going to lead to? Extinction. I'm just going to give it to you at the end. That's what is at the omega. From alpha to omega, it's going to lead to your extinction of your lineage. Your lineage. The people who are problem solvers, the people who are aware that you should be planning your children, that you should put your children in an environment intentionally after you plan them to help bring into existence their purpose, pre-planned. Those are the people who understand eugenics. They practice eugenics. They understand that eugenics is not a spook word that belongs to Margaret Sanger. They're not under that particular spell. And they understand that this is the thing that has been driving the core successful groups of humanity since its inception, and even in the animal kingdom. And so those are the people who will be here forever. The end. All the other people who want to come back and reincarnate and do all that, you ain't going to reincarnate shit. Your trashy ass is going into the earth and we're going to convert you back into minerals. That's what we're going to do. You ain't going nowhere. Your ass ain't reincarnating into shit. You got one failed dumbass life and that's all you getting. You don't get no more. Get the one. Wait, let me get all my. That's what I want. You ain't getting no more lives. Y'all all online lying. And ain't none of y'all done reincarnated into nothing. I dare you to prove it. Addicted to problems, allergic to solutions. So your crazy neurotic mind, because you're a failure at life, gives you the perception from a dysfunctional culture in the past to believe that you get an opportunity to get back here and do more fucked up things. That's what you believe. Or what are they teaching now? I saw the dude 607 up. He's talking about Abraxas and Sophia or something in the little thing that I was watching. Let me watch this. And so he's talking about this is an old argument, the argument of reincarnation versus escape. Like reincarnation is like the curse, and then not to being reincarnated is like the escape to somewhere. That's how you prove that you live. I mean, these videos we get like 100,000, it's like shit, 500,000 views. Like people are liking it, like the dopamine release, right? So what happens when you put out some bullshit and then people, 500,000 people like it? Is that dopamine neuromelanin or is that dopamine cortisol? I guarantee you it's dopamine cortisol. I guarantee you. Because all we got to do is what? Shut down your Instagram account and then you go into stress mode. You have no ability to adapt, no adaptation. One of the signs of highly intelligent people is the ability to implement adaptation without experiencing lack. All right. And so just to close this out, because we don't need to be on here long, and we can get up out of here quick. I plan to do this even shorter, but I just want our people to consider some things. You're going to die. That's for sure. You're going to die. Every day, you're getting closer to death. With that reality being here right now, if you're still listening, you're still alive. That just means you have space for a chance to do whatever you feel like doing. And I can't tell you what to do. Nobody can. It's your life. However, suggestions. come to a conclusion about where you really are in life versus where you want to be. Right? So now you got goals, short term and long term. Then you have to map out the method that's going to get you into those goals through coherent thought. And what again is coherent thought? Coherent thought is you having the ability to be creative, but not just creative, meaningfully creative. Meaning you have to have the objective observation and the subjective observation to say, this is where I am, and these are my tools. I'm going to improve the tools so I can improve the outcomes. And I can't fake that. That's something you got to study, you got to read, you got to go to school, you got to do whatever you got to do. You have to do things. You have to work. Work equals force times distance. So you can't fake that. The force has to go over a space of time. And it proves itself by contracting into ideas and creativity. And then once how you know your idea is worthy is it transforms you first, then it helps transform others, and then you keep doing it. You branch off and do more, and you repeat it over and over and over again. The greatest thing that a human being can do is develop themselves first and then share. That's all that's happening in the light field. It is a sharing communication network. God is a sharing communication network that does not, I repeat, does not have any bias. God is not good, nor is God evil. Those are perceptions of the behaviors of man and woman. God, the real God, is light. That's it. So you have an opportunity to be self-aware of who you are and to move your physical body in the directions that you wanted to move in, to move your thought in the direction that you wanted to move in, to accomplish your short-term and your long-term goals. You're going to die. So before that comes, you should want to do that, because even though you're not reincarnating, you will incarnate something into your bloodline. So although you don't survive death, what does survive death are the recording angels. And you know what the recording angels are? Y'all hear that in religion. They're angels and they write down everything. First of all, the word is not angels. The word is literally forces. What forces are recording everything in creation? The noble gases. The noble gases are the inert, non-biochemical reactive substances that are in your brain, they're in your lungs, they're in your spinal cord, they're all throughout your body, right? And you release them upon death, and they stay in the Earth's magnetic field. Well, some of them stay in the Earth's magnetic field. This is why you can go to a sacred site, sit there, do a meditation, and if you're doing breathing correctly, you can literally breathe in the memory of the sages and the people who have been in that place. It's through respiration. Like y'all think it's some magical shit going on. Like, it is magical. Breathe. You got all these systems about prana and all of this other stuff and don't know what it means. Memory on Earth, a part of the memory, local memory, I should say, is kept in the Earth's magnetic field. And it's through the noble gases. And they are able to take data from all the other elements. The other elements have irradiating electrical fields that are not imbalanced, like most of the noble gases that I'm mentioning. And so all I'm saying is you're going to die. And that's a part of inheritance. The greatest part of inheritance is how you thought and behaved while you existed in this existence. As the world gets more scientifically literate, they're going to understand the things that we're saying and be able to put them into more a way of understanding things. But lazy people have made these fake spiritualities and fake little, you got your little rituals that you do, you burning your candles, and you doing all that dumb shit. It's not solving your problem. And most importantly, you're not at peace. It's obvious. You're running a dopamine cortisol cycle. And so you're stressed over your addictions. Instead of calming yourself down and being honest with yourself, saying that you wasted time, you wasted experiences, you acted like you knew better and you didn't know better. When you had a chance to do right, you chose drama, you chose arguing, you chose backstabbing, you chose I'm envious of this brother, I want his or her position. You chose all the dumb shit. You chose stealing. You chose being deceptive about whatever is going on. You chose all these things, but that is the culture that you live in. You're expected to do that if you don't have another culture. You need another culture. Where are the black leaders that are bringing you jurisdiction and culture? Who? Minister Farrakhan? Umar Johnson? Who? Where are they at? Who are the popular people now? I don't even know. 19 Keys? Who else? Dane Calloway? And so what we're here to say is that you need an education. Where you gonna get it from? 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 Go read all the literature that you read about midwifery and then come read this. Let's do a cross comparison. Let's problem solve. How is it that my family, we can birth a child in less than an hour with no pain? How is it? That child now will be 15 in just less than 2.5 months. 45 minutes. What is making the cervix dilate that much? And the free flowing of the child. What does that have to do with gynecoid pelvis versus android pelvis? What does that have to do with the substances that the person was using? What does that do with the stress levels or no stress levels that the mother went through during the 9 months of pregnancy? All of those factors are playing a part in making sure that the iliopsoas muscle is relaxed as opposed to tense. The iliopsoas is a muscle that is in the pelvic region that is responsible for your hip flexors. How is this related to the innervation of full blood supply to the medium caudal artery, which is that little purple line on the back of the butt or the natal cleft, the butt crack, that you get this purple line that tells you how much you're dilating? Why was the process faster in some people and slower than other people? How does that have to do with their health or their stress levels? Your doctors ain't even entertaining that. They're like, look, take this epidural, sit your ass on this table for 12 hours, 20 hours, whatever it takes. We give you all the drugs that you want. Have this baby, and let's start this corporate citizenship project. Let's start it. That's the reality. And so that's the reality that we have to get around. The brother said, people's souls are not external in your opinion, just their memories via noble gases. No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. So whatever your idea of a soul is, I have no problem with it. I'm not going to argue with people about their religion or, whatever that is or whatever. I'm talking about what survives the body. The body, physical aspects goes back into the earth, goes through alpha, beta decay of minerals inside of a casket or whatever. The bones take longer, but they eventually get degraded, and this is just through microorganisms. The part of the human that survives that degradation are the noble gases. Now, if you want to label that as a soul, I have, so I can make a communication to people. I don't have to use the word soul. Everybody has a soul, whether it's functional or dysfunctional, is based on if you are defining it properly. I don't know how you define it. We define it, or that which survives the body, as the noble gases. We know they're in the body, we know what they do in the body, and we know that they are released. Unless we transcend this matrix, we will repeat it. I don't even know what that means, but whatever that means to you, okay. I don't know what y'all be meaning. And one thing I don't do is I ain't about to act like I know what you're saying, and I don't. I ain't about to do that. All right. So where we are right now is, let's go back over some details. Birth conference. If you want to sign up online, go right here. Webinar. Click this QR code. You can watch the Saturday birth conference. We are having a Saturday birth conference here in ATL. We will be streaming from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you can go to aboriginalvillageproject.org. We are streaming. You'll be able to go there, or you can just click on the QR code right now, and it'll take you right there so you can register. Once you register, you get immediate access to the link. All you have to do is click that link to watch. If you're doing it through a phone, computer, or whatever, you can still access it. You click that link, and at 3 p.m. on Saturday, you'll be watching us as we present at this Women's Health and Birth Conference. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Like, I'm talking about the type of stuff that you just don't know. Let me give you an example. I have said openly that, and other people have said this, but I guarantee they can't prove it. I have said openly that women who have sex with many male partners who are releasing not sperm, just any form of semen inside of their body, they collect in the biofilms of their cervix these various microorganisms that we call the semen microbiome. This is what's making her crazy. So let's say a woman has 3 baby daddies, 4 baby daddies, 5 baby daddies, 2 baby daddies. You talk about microchimerism. That's cool. You can have the conversation about microchimerism. This is not microchimerism as you currently describe it. This is not the sperm. This is the semen microbiome that's kept there. And there are no women on earth teaching you how to clean the semen microbiome of all your past partners. If they are, put them in the chat. Show them to me. Women don't know shit about women's health or women's body. They don't know. And they can sit here and act like they know all they want. But we just went over what that is. That it is dishonesty, disrespect, disloyalty. Those are the principles of nature. Their subjective mind and their objective mind is in a state of non-coherence. So they're dishonest and they're disconnected from the light, which means they can act spiritual. All they want is fake. What's happening is you need to clean that area. We developed a product literally called Yoni Fresh that does that in a matter of a few weeks. And with some cultural identity, sisterhood, and other things, you can help heal yourself. As long as you have the semen microbiome of many men inside of your body, you will always be a 304. I don't care how much you fake it. I don't care what. I am educating men. No, Wild Yam cannot help at all. Wild Yam can't do nothing for what I'm talking about at all. If you got any experiments that show Wild Yam can do it, please bring them forth. Wild Yam cannot help with removing, detoxing the semen microbiome of men who you have slept with. They do not have to ejaculate inside of you in order for this to happen. Semen is released naturally. All right. Oh, okay. He's talking about your question. I thought he was talking about my question. So, do y'all have any higher knowledge on helping women not have excessive bleeding during menstrual cycle? Oh, okay. Amor. Wow, yeah. All right. There you go. That's one of the things that help. But you got to go to causation too, because that's also a part of the problem. That's a part of the problem with thinking. You're thinking, oh, yeah, I got a symptom. I'm bleeding excessively. All right. Any woman who bleeds excessively, her problem is not just estrogen, which helps with the conversion to progesterone. That's not the root problem. That is something that you're handling biologically. All right. You have to go the cycle. The cycle is mind first, matter second. And I don't mean that in a spooky way, because mind is matter. So what am I saying? If mind is matter, what is mind over matter? There are two different types of matter. One is moving, one you can't perceive the movement. You just can't perceive it. And so mind over matter means if I'm going to move, I'm going to move from the origin of the problem into the solution to the problem. If I don't do that, what that's going to set up is a cultural dynamic of non-coherent thought. It is literally new to people. So if I'm saying this to you now, you never heard it before, I expect you not to understand what I'm saying until you go back and watch this lecture maybe about 2 times, and you go back and you're going to be like, okay, I got it now. Because you can measure it by your own behaviors. Because you will always not go to the root of something to actually solve the problem. You will go from the symptom and say, let's put a Band-Aid on the symptom. And that is the worst behavior of human beings. That's why I did this lecture tonight. That's why I used this flyer in order to bring the point home so that people could understand this is the behavioral dynamic that's making you dysfunctional right here. It's right here. Addicted to problems, allergic to solutions. So now what this means is if I give a person an herb as the foundational solution to their anatomical and physiological reality, what I have just done for them is distort nature. It means whether I'm cognizant of it or not, I'm an irresponsible teacher. It doesn't matter if you're a good person or not. Because you could be a good person, nice person to be around, whatever. You just don't know how to solve a problem in this universe, which is the only one that we know. And so all we're saying is that as we progress forward and we start thinking about how to solve problems, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. We can't have confusing communications. It's going to breed disunity and dysfunction. So we're coming on Saturday to talk about those things, and all of y'all can sign up. You can sign up also for the webinar, right? And the registration. We showed you that. So we had a registration and a webinar. You can go to Aboriginal Village Project. I'll put it in the chat. And yeah, you can get all of that information. Just go to the homepage, Aboriginal Village Project. I'm going to put this in the chat on all the social media right now as we're sitting here. I can do that really quickly so that y'all can have that. All right. And we have other events and a host of other types of activity and other things that's going on. There's no such thing as a non-physical force. I don't know what y'all talking about on Instagram. Somebody said that matter is a non-physical force. I don't know what they're talking about. But people just like to talk, and they think opinions are like something that are like absolute or real in nature or something, and it's just not. It's just your subjective thought that is put forward that means nothing. It literally means nothing. But you're used to empathy and mercy, and that is also confusing. All right, so it won't be on Patreon because I'm doing business with other people, and Patreon is my business. So it won't be on Patreon. It'll be streamed for those who register, and they can register for that. No issue with that. The links are all there. You'll be able to come on and do that. All right. But let's close out because I don't want to stay on here long. I don't even like being on YouTube like that. Y'all know. I think I got like less than 5 YouTubes the whole year. I don't like YouTube. I don't even like speaking publicly, literally. But I do it because it's a part of, what we got to have done. But so we got that going on Saturday. We also have, I just want to get these announcements out of the way. That's the main thing I'm trying to do. We also have the summit coming up. Let me pull that summit flyer up. Y'all can all get tickets from Aboriginal Village Project. And as I said, anything you buy from me, you can use it as a tax write-off. I don't care what it is. Whatever you get from me, you can use it. Everything that I do is free in the sense of you can get a refund. I'm going to make the government give you a refund for it. Your fake jurisdiction, we're going to make it so that they give you a refund for it. So Aboriginal Village Project, again, you can go there. You can order your summit tickets. Summit is August 15th through the 17th. Get your tickets early. It will save you some time and probably some money. All right. So you can order those tickets also at aboriginalvillageproject.org. All right. I don't think I have any more announcements. If we don't have any more announcements, just to summarize in closing, do not be addicted to anything. Addictions come with chronic stress. And see, a part of the problem is also control, right? I will never command anybody to do anything in this universe because I don't control nobody but myself. Don't even control my children. I'm a guide for my children. I'm not here to control my children. Nobody has to listen, and it doesn't stress me out when nobody listens and does things the way that I think that they should do them. Even though on stances where I'm talking about absolute law, I'm only sharing it for the purpose of you investigating it and using it. I have no coercion for anybody to do anything on this earth at all. But when there comes to things that are absolute and vital, I do want to see you successful. So I'm going to come with the hard truth. And I'm going to say what I just said. Spiritual people are dumb. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. And if they got a problem with that, come talk to me. I ain't going to curse at you when I'm talking to you. We're going to have a conversation and a dialogue. Not a philosophical one, not an opinionated one. I'm going to see if you do understand scientific method, not even based on this world's parameters. The scientific we use is more advanced than the scientific method they use, because it's dealing with what? The scientific method in the Western world deals only with your objective abilities and objective abilities through diagnostic. It arrests, it completely arrests subjective observations because they don't know how to cultivate subjective perception. How do you cultivate subjective perception? What is it? In their world is opinion. In our world, it is communication with a light field. Our subjective communication is how we communicate with the light field, whether it's coherent or whether it's non-coherent. That is how inside of Arna and the indigenous paradigm laid out by the Shiamaru tribal government, that's what we're using. We don't need a Quran. We don't need a Bible. We don't need a pyramid text. We don't need a Rig Veda. We don't need anything. We don't even need the cards. We don't need any of that to do what we're doing. All of that is secondary. We have to know what thinking is and be able to explain mind over matter. That simple. Once we get to that, then we go to our four qualities and our four elements, and we can build the whole construction of the whole objective and subjective world from our table of the four qualities and the four elements, all of it. And then we add in the cards and the biocosmology, and the whole curriculum starts to come together. It's spiraling and build itself up just like everything else builds itself up. And so what I'm saying is you need a curriculum. You need a curriculum that teaches you how to deal with objective reality in your environment. And then it will secure you with using the internal subjective methods properly as a vetting system. And once you have those two right, you are alive. That is the definition of being alive. At least in our world, at least in our jurisdiction. And after that, everything else is pretty much fun. Like literally 80% of your life should be fun and 20% should be like what we call work. Y'all got like 90-something% work and like 10% fun. And then you have this thing called a vacation. I don't even know what vacation is because I always have my time. Like always. And then the 20% where I'm working is the things that I love because I'm in service of humanity in a very healthy way. And so once you get into that zone, the way that you think is going to be different. And that's where we want to get people at so we can have all the fun. Because even though we're going to educate y'all like Saturday we coming back to the house and we're going to be partying. We're going to be in here spaded and faded. We're going to be in here chilling. Because that's the real reason why we came is the fellowship amongst the families. The education to the public is our service to humanity. And so you got to get your life designed around that. And what happens in the business world when you want to learn something, or you get amongst the people who have expertise in that field. See, we're so far from thinking that people who look like us have like the most important information or the most important processes or the most important guidance. We're so far from that it feels like I watch Black people, so-called Black people, they feel strange confiding in you with certain things. I'm talking about like secular things. They get real strange. It's like a strange feeling because deep inside of their mind, Black is not really excellent. That's just like that's an online slogan. Excellent is white. Authority is white. Oh, it's deep inside of you and it comes out. That's what you look to solve all your problems. So we got to change that. I ain't going to keep y'all long. We've been on 2 hours. Love y'all. I'm going to get up out of here, but hopefully you learned something that's valuable to the tribal jurists and the economic specialists and the doctors. We do have Think Tank this week. You're going to see them flyers come out late tonight or early tomorrow morning. So we're going to knock those 2 out this week. And that's it. I don't think I'll be back on YouTube for another week or so. So I will see you guys. Follow all the social media, Godbody OG, Godbody.OG on Instagram. Put that in the chat. Godbody OG on X. They deleted my X account, but I got a new one. Godbody OG. What other social media? If you're on TikTok, Amarushi Ali or Godbody. I had never really used TikTok like that. So for the past like 2 months, I've been kicking on TikTok. And it's been going good. I actually got TikTok to put my videos back up by disputing them, challenging them. See, because nobody wants to read this stuff. Like, I am the boring person who's going to read all of your policy and say, which one did you say I broke? And I went through that with them, and they put all my videos back up there. Or they only took like 2 down. So they put them back up. And then what else? Oh, yeah. On Facebook, Amaru Nama Tagashi. Put that in the chat. Facebook. All right. So we got all that stuff down. If you want to get into those books, those links were already put into the chat. So if you go on Instagram, you just got to go to the link tree. And I got to teach my people, like, I don't know, Facebook is dealing with people like maybe like senior citizen app or something. Look, for people on Facebook, if you want to get like buy something from someone, you just like click on their name and then they have like a bio. You scroll down and you can see like their websites. Then you can click on their websites. Or you might see a link tree, which is still like a website. You click on it and then you can buy things. Yo, I think that Facebook people, if that's your primary app that you use, I think that you are suffering from 2 things. I think that you have an addiction to Facebook because it's a place where everybody just comes and fights and vents and debates. And it's also a sign that you don't know how to use technology. Because for some reason, this just is my experience, the people on Facebook do not know how to use technology very well. And that's okay. I think we need to do some Facebook lives on how to use Facebook. As a matter of fact, I'm like, y'all think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? I'm going to do a short 5-minute video. All right. It's going to be funny, but I'm going to put it together to show Facebook people like how to use Facebook, like how to use it. I just think they know how to post and that's it. Like, or make a comment and read. I don't think they really know how to use the app. So yeah, we're going to help y'all out with that because it seems like you're having some problems with that, but it's all good. That's the senior citizen app. It's older people there and they don't know what they're doing, or older minded people. You might be 30 years old, but you're just a Facebook subscriber. So just add 50 years to everybody's age on Facebook who uses Facebook as the primary app. And if you're 70, shit, that means you're 120. You might be you might have got the damn Guinness Book of World Records just because you 120 on Facebook. But that still means you don't know how to use technology. So we want to help you. Yeah, we're going to help you. Oh my God. All right. So look, what time is it? Oh God, 10:16. All right. Yeah. I got other stuff to do tonight. Let me get up out of here, y'all. Love y'all. We out. Went over my time.